Yes, hello everybody. My name is Thomas. This is Niklas, and welcome to the first meeting for Agile Ventures involvement in this project that we right now have named Refugee Tech for the lack of a better name. I guess that will change in the future. But yeah, so. Uh, So let's start. Basically, what I've done so far is that I've kind of I published two documents on this project's Agile Ventures page. One being a bit of a background thoughts from me, I guess, that have been formulated over a period of time, and but also some minutes and notes from a meeting that we had with Unify, which is a potential client in this project, and then they sent me a project description that is published on agileventures.org under Refugee Tech. So if you haven't read it, please do read it during the meeting. I guess that's a good way to do it. But I would like to start with a quick round of introductions. So I could start, perhaps, and then we could go around. I'm Thomas. I'm one of the people behind the Agile Ventures initiative. We all know what Agile Ventures is, so we don't have to talk about that too much, but I'm based in Gothenburg, in Sweden. I run a company called Craft Academy. That is a boot camp. It's an educational firm where we run boot camps and we teach people web development from scratch. We focus on Ruby on Rails, some other Rack-based frameworks like Sinatra and Middleman, and we do a lot of HTML and CSS and JavaScript, and we practice test-driven development, and we're basically pain in the ass for our students, but we try to give them as much knowledge and competence and skills as possible during the 3 months they are with us. So that's who I am. Niklas.
Yeah, my name is Niklas, and I'm running a startup company here at the same location as Thomas. And yeah, we're making apps, especially an app for restaurants and cafes here in Gothenburg to let them do their own marketing by using an Instagram-like app, and it's also a community where people around the city can get those ads and offers from the companies. So yeah, I met Thomas here as we're in the same place. So and I got the idea about this, as we call it, Unify from now. Yeah, from a couple of students here around at Gothenburg University, and we had some thoughts about this idea before among us in our team, and we thought it would be a great idea to do something together with Thomas here.
And you guys, of course.
And you guys, of course.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Gail, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right. My name is Gail. I'm an Android developer, and then right now I'm trying to focus on Angular and Ruby. I'm actually a team leader developer in an academy, which is based in South Africa. So every 3 months we recruit people, like 30 people, but then I'm in charge of 6 people in my team, and I actually help them move on with the project. So, for example, if they have to go and learn Android or AngularJS, I have to guide them on how to go about those tutorials and all the stuff. And then that's what I'm doing right now. So yeah, that's all about me.
Cool. Mazen?
Hi, this is Mazen. Actually, I have not much to say. I have a lot to hear actually today. I'm a pretty beginner to learn about coding and stuff like that. So on that side, I have very little experience, but I have a good passion, I would say, for the cause of the app. So that's it from my side.
Yeah, and Mazen is a student of mine actually. So he sits in the room next door to me. So we perceive this project as a good learning opportunity for us, and and we're gonna kind of use this as one of the learning platforms for during the month he's here with us. And René.
Yeah, well, my name, René, like Thomas said, this is true. And I work as a developer since, I don't know, a couple of years, meanwhile, and have quite some fun developing applications for the upcoming, or for the Ubuntu phone, which is quite interesting. And heard about this project because I'm connected to Agile Ventures, I don't know, since I guess 1.5 years or something. And I read about this project and I found it quite interesting, so that I thought I could perhaps spend some time with it.
Which is exactly what we're looking for.
Mm.
Cool. All right, so the thing is, what is the thing? Well, let me share my screen and see. Yes. So this is the instance on Agile Ventures where we kind of have all project, well, or will at least have all project information stored. And again, at this point, we don't have much yet. There are, as I mentioned before, some initial thoughts on my part, and 2 documents: the client meeting and the project description. If you haven't yet, please join this project by clicking. Navigate to this page, and there should be a big green button saying join project, and then you will be listed here as a participant in the project, and that will also give you ability to create new documents and also edit the existing ones if you like to add something or change something, fix some typos, because I usually make typos. Anyway, so one of the functionality of our site is that we used to have like comment section down below here, but for some reason these comments are not working right now, which I reported over to Raul, that is in charge of this application, but obviously they haven't fixed that yet, so hopefully they'll be able to do that soon. So okay, so let's the way we usually start new projects in Agile Ventures is that we kind of talk about the scope of the project first, and then we since we were working with Agile methods, we work in sprints, right? So I would say that the first sprint, the first week or 2-week period that we will be facing, and this is something that we need to decide on, what sprint length to use, should be about designing something, about ping-ponging different ideas and brainstorming about what to do, basically. And the things that are very important to us at this point would be, there are several action items, but one of the main ones would be to take this project description and create user stories out of that. Are we all familiar with the user story format?
Yes.
Yes. So we work out of a out of a user's perspective or a stakeholder's perspective, saying that as an administrator, in order to achieve some sort of a business value or value proposition, then I want to be able to do something, right? So if we I know that, for instance, the project description from Unify involves some mechanism to log in with Facebook or some other, or I think Facebook login and Google login, right? So the one potential user story could be, as a user, in order to be able to no, as a system administrator, to simplify the user login mechanism, I would like to offer Facebook and Google login mechanism. That's a good user story, I would say. So one of the things that we would have to do at this point is to read through the functional requirements, for instance, or basically the whole document, and extract some basic user stories from that. So that would be one action item. Right? Then, of course, we would have to talk among ourselves, and without the client's input, I don't think we need client's input on that, is basically what sort of technical stack we would like to use for this project. And I guess that it depends, of course, if the client's requirement is that the users should be able to access this system using smartphones, for instance, or some mobile devices, that would, of course, have an impact on our decision what to use. But do you guys have any thoughts? Have you thought about this, Nicholas?
No, not so much yet. So.
No.
But I think it's a requirement, isn't it, to be able to do it on a smartphone directly.
Okay, have they said anything about that here? I can't really.
Or it doesn't say it? Maybe it's just my...
I think you're muted, Mazen.
There is in the scope I'm mentioning for that is to be used by smartphones.
You say that there isn't?
There is.
There is, okay. So smartphones, okay. So yeah, you've been working a bit with, you mentioned Android, and have you worked with iOS?
No. Pure Android, native application.
All right. Are you familiar with any libraries or any tools or frameworks that allows for development of hybrid applications?
I know there's Ionic, which is actually hybrid, and then Ionic plus Angular that works together. Because recently we worked on an application that was built upon Angular and Ionic. But then the thing that I don't like about it is like the user experience sucks. So
yeah,
I'm not quite a fan of hybrid application.
Yeah. So I would say that the user experience sucks if it's been designed in a bad way. I don't think it's the frameworks, but of course there are certain things. I've worked with Ionic a bit. I've done like 2 minor small projects in Ionic.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy, but of course the Ionic lacks certain native components, but actually the strong side is that you can use some native things. Like I built something with a barcode scanner, so we could access the camera and things like that. So that was pretty good. So, but yeah, let's.
Okay, so this is. Can you see?
Let's have a look.
So this is actually the application that has been built in Ionic.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a navigation bar.
Uh-huh.
Can you see the navigation bar? So I'm gonna click it.
Okay.
And then that's how it looks like.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
I think Ionic is worth exploring. It's the good thing with Ionic is that it is it's kind of if you know JavaScript, then you can kind of and Angular. It's the learning curve is not that big because it's fairly easy to learn the Ionic framework if you're familiar with Angular. I think it's much harder to learn like Java or Swift or something. I don't know. But we could at least have that as a possibility. One would say.
Okay. All right.
Unless anybody votes against it, or have very strong feelings against. I have to switch networks, so I might fall out for a second, but I will write back, okay? Because I'm getting some bad response times on the network I'm on. Give me like 5 seconds. Did you lose us? No? No? Okay, all good. Let's see if this is better. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So we did presentation, but apart from okay. If we think about the back end, and I kind of sense that we should have at least. I mean, we need to deploy one application, and if we work with a mobile client, that client needs to talk to some sort of an app through an API, right? So we can grab the information, right? So let's just say, so on client side, we need at least one web client, right? And then we need something on mobile, right? Mobile, and then let's say Ionic question mark. Any other suggestions? Could we go like really native, but that would mean that we have to develop 2 applications?
Yeah, I think it would be better to make this cross-platform at least first.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Don't you think? Because it's a matter of time also.
Yeah, I agree. So, in terms of backend, so I'm a Rails guy. You know, does anybody has like big objections to use Rails? Anybody want to go with Node or something, or whatever? Should I interpret the silence as no? Or?
Well,
I hate
any objection.
Rene, you hate Node, or what do you say?
I hate everything which is connected to JavaScript.
Okay, so not the frameworks on the back end. I know that Niklas here works with like Microsoft-based stuff, which is like a big no-no for me. Or is it?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You do .NET, don't you?
Yeah, but I'm not the .NET coder.
Okay,
but,
all right.
Yeah.
So we could, I mean, this is way too early. This is just like brainstorming. We don't have to decide anything. But I would say that Ruby on Rails could be a viable option, and there's some in Ruby on Rails 5 we will have support for APIs. So that's a good thing, I would say. But because if we want to have as I was saying before, if we want to have a mobile client, we need to expose this application through a RESTful API, so we can allow people to both retrieve and create objects, basically. All right. Any other thoughts? Does any one of you have any favorite infrastructure solutions like platform as a service? We usually use stuff for hosting applications in development. Anybody has any thoughts on that?
I don't.
Okay, so we don't. Do you guys have any servers on your own, Nicholas?
No, we're just running the Microsoft stuff.
Okay, yeah. So PaaS, the platform would be, Heroku in development, and perhaps if we go to production, we could set out some sort of a VPS for the client. But that's a matter of budget. We don't. So Heroku is something that we can do for free because we have free accounts on Heroku. But if we go to production, then we need to talk to the client and see if they have a budget for hosting, basically. You know, or if we want to, you or Craft Academy want to sponsor them or something, you know, because it's a matter of it's a matter of money. You know. So yeah, but I would suggest, as usual. So my experience tells me that we can work in this kind of three-stage server structure, which we can also map to our Git repositories and stuff. I would say that, you know, when we work with code, we want to deploy that to a development server to test it, basically in real life. But then, you know, if we go to production, we should, you know, we push that out to like a VPS, but we should have like a staging server, a server that is kind of replicating the production environment to test, because, you know, Heroku is Heroku. It has its own structure, and the servers are configured in a special way. But then, just to make sure that our code is of good quality and also will work good in a production environment, we should have a staging server that is like a replica of the production server, where we push from development to we deploy from development to staging, see if everything is working, perhaps submit the code, you know, the functions to like the load tests or stuff like that, and if that is okay, then we push out to production. So we are confident that we will not introduce any bugs in the production environment. So I would say that, you know, and perhaps staging servers, right? Staging. So what am I doing? Oh, anyway. So okay. So let's. I mean, these are just. I'm just throwing things out, but, you know, version control. Does anybody have any strong feelings against Git or as version control system?
I've used Git in the past, but not quite that much, so I'm a bit familiar with it.
Anybody favoring like Subversion or anything else? No? See, I work with Git most of the time, you know, and meaning that we could, you know, we have a workflow pre-designed before in Agile Ventures where we use Git as version control system, but we also use, of course, GitHub, and usually we favor GitHub against Bitbucket. So I would say that, you know, we could have a main repository for this project on Git, on GitHub, I mean, and then, you know, we use that to also deploy to servers. There are some nice continuous integration and continuous deployment services that we can use, so we can get stuff out of the way and pushed out to servers. So I would say that Git could be our choice of version control, and then GitHub for storage and collaboration, right?
All right.
Hey, with you guys? Okay. What else? So let's think about project management a little bit. So the usual system that we use, but there are many to choose from, and we already had a discussion about that in the Slack channel. So we usually use Pivotal Tracker, or I use Pivotal Tracker. Pivotal Tracker. Or actually, let's have a look at one of the projects that we already have in place. So this is the Pivotal Tracker for one of our projects called Local Support, and this Pivotal Tracker kind of supports the Scrum method fairly well. You know, we have a current sprint that we are working on right now. We have a backlog with feature requests and chores and bugs, that are prioritized and assessed, like they have assigned points to it. And then we have a long one called Icebox, where they don't need to be so well described yet. They don't have to be assessed. But if you have an idea for a function that you just have the headline in your head, but perhaps you don't have a general idea of how to implement it. Anything and anybody can place stuff in the icebox, and then they are brought up to discussion. And personally, I think that this tool is it's a good tool. We can have a good title. We can have a description of each chore or a task or a feature. We could have I can't see it here, but you can have a chat under each under each item and stuff like that. So personally, I think that this is a good solution. Another one we could use is Waffle, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. This is a waffle board for one of our projects called MetPlus, and the good thing with Waffle is that it's connected to it is connected to the repository of in this case MetPlus, and all these to-dos or stuff are in fact GitHub issues, which is good. The downside of that is that you need to be assigned to this. In order to be able to create issues, there are some settings that has to be done in GitHub. But on the other hand, you need that for Pivotal Tracker as well. You need to be a member of it, etc., etc. So I don't know. My personal opinion, I favor Pivotal Tracker. I think it has a better support for the agile process. Hold on a second, Mazen, can you open the door? I think my son is out there. Thanks. I'm sorry to disturb you with this, but yeah. And just tell him we're in a meeting. So I think that Waffle is a little simpler tool. Perhaps I've heard people say that Pivotal Tracker is a little harder to learn. It's a little steeper learning curve, but I don't know. Any thoughts on that, guys?
Well, I've used Pivotal Tracker once while I've been introduced by Rahul, but then adding actually quite struggling it. So I'm fine with it.
You guys were struggling a bit with Waffle or Pivotal Tracker?
I never used Waffle, I used Pivotal Tracker. So it wasn't much of a struggle. So
Okay.
I can adapt to it.
Okay. Niklas, do you have any thoughts on this?
No, I've just looked at Pivotal Tracker so far, so I don't have any opinion about the Waffle. But I like the way Pivotal Tracker works. So.
René, do you have any opinion?
I'm fine with Pivotal Tracker.
Okay. All right. Let's put it down for Pivotal right now. It's kind of important that we can always change our mind later on. But during this initial sprint, we won't be writing too much code. We will be doing a lot of user stories and feature requests and stuff like that. So the project management tool is fairly important. We can always if we find that Pivotal Tracker is a little too much for us, or it's hard to implement, in our process, then we can change. But let's try to do it as soon as possible if we're gonna make a shift. All right. So let's do that, and I will make sure that we can set up. See what's happening with Google. Let's see if I can create. I don't know if I am the one who can create a new project. If perhaps Sam needs to do it, actually, to be honest. Let's have a quick look. Dashboard. Let's create project name, account, Sam Joseph, you, ThinkBots. Yeah, let's do it on Sam. You do not have permission, of course. There you go. Thomas, that's me. Yeah, so should we call it Unify or what should we call it?
Yeah.
Unify, okay. Unify.
For Project Unify, I don't know if it's
Yeah.
name.
Project Unify. And we're just going to create this little project here. Project Unify public. Let's see how many members. So the problem that I could potentially face is that I could have a limit on my account in terms of how many members I can add. So if we run into this problem, I will create a new instance using Agile Ventures, but I don't have access to that right now. So that will be a bit of a problem. Let me see if I can add. Where is that? There we go. Puff, and then I can set you as owner, and then I do like this, and I think you will get an email. If you guys could paste me your emails in the Google Hangout chat or in the Slack channel, then I can add you. Or perhaps, yeah, that would be the best actually. I can add you as collaborators, okay?
Right.
You're in, okay. So now I'm gonna take this. Let's see. I'm gonna take this. Where is that? No. How do I do this now? How do I do this? Project Unify. Now I'm gonna grab this little URL here. I'm gonna save this document for a moment, and I'm gonna go over to the RefugeeTech. And I'm going to do what? I'm going to edit project details. And I'm going to add this pivotal tracker link here. Project was not updated because why? Invalid pivotal tracker. You kidding me? Okay, so it's about this. What is it? An F? Okay, so we just exposed a new error in. Let me see. Oh, this is so embarrassing. I built this site, okay, so it's really embarrassing. Sometimes I hate myself. No, I'm kidding, but it's like, let's see, website one. N, but it is N. I did N. Why did, what is this? Is it yes? Let's try this. Well, quite obviously I cannot. No. Well, there you go. Okay. So while we talk, let's talk about something, and I'm going to do something manually. Okay, I can show it to you here. So I'm just going to cd out of this into Agile Ventures. Ventures and website one. There we go, and then I'm going to do like this given node minus win. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to do Heroku run console remote production, and let's see, it's going to run. When I just go into the server, and I'm going to say, what am I going to say? I'm going to check the last project. Or come on. This is exciting. This is like watching your washer dry, wash your clothes. So we're gonna do P, and now we just go project because we're using active record, and I'm gonna say project last. Project last is the RefugeeTech project, and I'm gonna do P. Then it's equal this. And I'm gonna just set the pivotal tracker URL. Yeah. No. Of course. They have one dot too many. There you go. And now I'm just gonna do p.save. Like this. And then save with a bang. Save, and I cannot do that because it validates. Why? Rene, do you remember how you skip validation in save?
Pardon? Say it again.
Okay, do you know how to skip validation when you do?
No, I can't tell.
Oh, you're figuring it out. Skip validation. Skip validation. You do what? Say validate. There you go. Do something like this. Validate false.
Yeah.
And it's true. Now we just go back here, so we can back this up.
But why does it? Why isn't it valid?
Because so what happened? So what happened is that we are. So now we have this link here, right? So what happened was that when Pivotal Tracker, so we wrote this validator for Pivotal Tracker links, and for some reason Pivotal Tracker changed the way they structure the URL, and it's the key is that letter. It's N now, but it used to be something else, and for some reason our validator is not taking that. So if we do GitHub.
This leads us to the point of overdone validations and overdone test cases and stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. And at all, so first of all, this validations are in the lib folder, which you shouldn't use at all. So you have Pivotal Tracker URL validator here. And you see here, we need to match. Okay, so it should be S. It should be an S, which is perfectly cool because if we do change here this N to an S, it displays an old. No, it actually reroutes to N. But usually before, like 6 months ago, it routed you to a different layout of this dashboard, basically.
Yeah, that's changing.
Yeah. So probably what we should do is to change this regex to take at least don't take into account that it should be anything else above after the Pivotal Tracker or stuff, So I don't know, but we just overwrite that manually because I have admin access to the server, and that's good. Sometimes it's really good to have that. Yes, moving on. So for the newbies of Git, we can also see who wrote that. And it's not me. I'm so happy it wasn't me. We can see that it's Brian actually, who is responsible. And Brian told me that he would be here at this meeting, and unfortunately he's not. But we can see that it was Brian who implemented that regex. Anyway, moving on. So now we have this Pivotal Tracker for this little project. I think it's good. And so let's see, where are you guys? You are somewhere here. Have you used Okay, so there is a chat window, and if you want to become members of this Pivotal Tracker, send me your emails, or perhaps you've already done that on the RefugeeTech channel. No, you? Yes, good. So I'm going to add you instantly. And basically, what we can do. Okay. So what we can do is to add that, add Marvin. What? Why do I? Oh, so you're not. Okay. You will get an invite, and you have to register at Pivotal Tracker probably. Then you can update your credentials there. And Renee, I think you have an account on Pivotal since before. Yeah. Okay, so now you guys can create and add things to this project. So let me just demonstrate. We don't necessarily have to do this in this meeting. I would say that we can all, independently of each other, try to work with this project document and create user stories and just place them in the icebox. And then at the next meeting, we can kind of boil it down. We can delete some of them if they're overlapping and stuff like that. But let's say that we spoke earlier about this Facebook login, right? So I click the plus sign to create a new entry, and I would say UAuth login, right? Something like that, and then as a description, I would say as system admin, as a system admin, in order to simplify the sign up and sign in process, I would like to have Facebook and Google login button. And I think that's the level of technical complexity you need to have here. You don't have to explain that. Oh, I would like to authorize the application through blah 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 blah. But this is like a user story, right? And then what we could have is like tasks here. So tasks, we usually use tasks as a criteria for when are we done. So I would say create a Facebook app, because in order to authorize, you need to do that to an application. You need to set up like Google API dev entry or whatever it is. It's like you have to have some keys and stuff like that. And add necessary attributes to because we need to have a user model probably, with name, password, email, etc. But if we want to, I know this from my experience, that if you want to have UAuth login, then that you need to add some attributes to that model, basically, and etc. etc. This could go on a little more. So a developer, whoever takes this feature, should be able to kind of just mark that everything is done, right? And until it's done, it's basically not being deliverable. But here we can have like a discussion, and for instance, for Rails, there is like a separate library. Let's see, it's called you know, there like, I mean, we usually use BICE for user authentication, right? So I could say that, you know, you can use Markdown here with suggestions of some gems that we could potentially use, you know, in development, right? And I can edit this and say, you know, perhaps something like this, right? So I just want to demonstrate. It's way too early to think about those things, but I just want you to think about that this is like this is the way you guys can work independently of each other and then place things in the icebox, right? And then we just save this, and it's right here, right? You can expand and see different stuff here, right? Mm-hmm. It's pretty handy, don't you guys think?
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So that was just an example, but could we agree that you know, either if you set up pair programming sessions with each other, or if you work independently, you could like go over that project document and think about stuff that needs to be done, and perhaps you and I can work a little bit together and stuff like that, you know, and just fill this icebox with stuff. And don't think about the complexity. This is all about, you know, the brainstorming phase of this project. So I would just say, whatever you guys think is necessary, just, it's better to have too many things in the icebox than have an empty icebox, basically, you know. So just feel free to add whatever you guys want. All right. And you know, this could be stuff like, you know, set up an application or set up a server, or, you know, do this and that in the code or whatever, you know. One other thing is that these user stories, you know, this you know, this format is very good, but, you know, if you can expand on it, you know, I would add potentially here. I would like to have a Facebook and Google login button at both, or at the, you know, login page, right? For instance, because we want to focus on the user experience, right? This is a very simple example, but, you know, if we're gonna list people that are in the system, or if we want to geographically list people, or list them by interest and stuff like that, this could, you know, become more and more advanced, but always try to look upon things from a user's perspective, you know. I would say it's a good thing. All right, we need to keep this time box, so we are approaching 1 hour in 6 minutes, so it's time to wrap up. But so what we have kind of agreed upon are these basic things here, and of course these are subject to change. I will clean this up a little bit after the meeting. Could we set a date when we can meet again? It's Friday now, perhaps Tuesday or something.
Sure.
Is that possible for you guys?
What time?
I don't know. So let's talk about time. I mean, usually I'm kind of busy during the day, but then again I have a family that keeps me busy at night as well. I don't know. At least 2 people wrote to me in Slack and said that they couldn't be in the meeting because it was conflicting with their jobs. So I don't know. Should we try to keep it a little later than today, around let's say 3:30 UTC? That's 4:30 our time.
Yeah, sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah, for us it's
okay. So let's say 3:30 UTC next time. Okay. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's all right.
next. I spelled so badly something. I'm so sorry about
Keyboard.
it. Tuesday. Tuesday. What date would that be? That would be
Oh, it's the first, second.
second. Yeah, second. Feb at 15:30. Right, UTC. All right. Okay. So one interesting thing is with this system of ours that even if I am the one who created this document here on Agile Ventures, if you guys are a member of this project, all of you can go in and change this. The only problem is that we don't want, you can have a conflict if you change it simultaneously. But this is version controlled. However, we lack functionality to roll back at the moment. I can roll back as an admin on the server, but it is version control. But so if you and since we don't have comments because we cannot discuss, so feel free to just edit the document and add any comments down below here. That's a good place if they're of a general nature, right? If there are more common, or use the Slack channel, but also don't hesitate to use this chat functionality in Pivotal Tracker if you have any ideas or things. And you can always click on this little button here, choose a specific person, and just ask them what do you think, this, and they will be notified over email, I think. So that's a good thing, So if there's a specific question about a specific feature, try to use Pivotal Tracker for that. All right.
All right.
Good. So sorry for talking so much. That's the way I roll, basically. But feel free to tell me to shut up next time. No problems. Yeah. If there's nothing else, I think he was in the picture all the time during the recording. I think we missed it. I have to click on my own.
Oh. Okay.
Well, next time we'll do it better.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, any other questions, guys?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay. I will write down some thoughts about the sprint length, and we need to talk to the client whether if they want to meet us every week or every 2 weeks or stuff like that.
She talked to them this week.
Yeah.
About that.
All right, guys. Yeah. Thank you very much for this, and I'm available at Slack, and so is Nicholas. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you a lot for initiating this thing.
And thank you for being here. Thanks. We'll see what comes out of it. Take one across, guys.
All right.
Start
Ciao.
and start with the way to go. All right. Bye bye.